Find wood, pitch to wood. It gives it a really good wobble.
What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking about 5 lures that I highly encourage you to try before summer is over. Of course, the days are getting shorter quite quickly. Kids are going back to school. We're going to be in that summer to fall transition, and fall will completely be here full bore before we know it. So 5 lures that I think will certainly help you out as summer's kind of coming to an end here to still catch some fish. Now, again, a lot of it's going to be bank fishing related, but this is for anybody, whether you've got a boat. I've been talking to people around here using the same stuff in boats, so it doesn't matter who you are, you're all going to benefit from this one. So to help you out, I'm going to cover each lure, talk about the combo that I fish it on, and kind of give you some tips for fishing that lure to hopefully help land you some more bass before summer is over. So enough yapping, let's get turned around and take a table talk look at these, because, did I just say table talk? Tabletop look at these, kind of like the old days, the old hands in front of the camera. We're gonna mix it up. So enough yapping, let's get to talking about the baits.
All right, lure number 1's probably not gonna be a surprise. It's the frog. Now, specifically this 6th Sense Vega frog. I've got a ton of questions on this. How do you like it? Does it walk well? Is it worth the money? Yes, so far I have actually really liked the 6th Sense Vega frog. So you can see it's got a cup mouth here. And when I walk this frog, it's awesome because it does that little side-to-side spit. And I think that really draws a bunch of bites. That's usually how I work the frog, is pop it back and forth so it's got that little bit of, spit splash commotion. And I feel like it really draws those fish in. So this one is really easy to do that, and it walks really easy. Unlike a lot of other frogs, this is a little bit longer, kind of skinnier frog, which makes it easier to walk, almost like a spook, a pencil type bait. Instead of a shorter body, more of a chugging frog, really easy to walk. The legs are already pretty much cut to size. I usually trim them down just a little bit. Hooks are super sharp on it. You can see they're already kind of pointed up. Now, if you wanted a little bit better hookup ratio, you see how they're turned in like this. You could take those with some pliers and bend them out just a little bit and bend them up just above the body. But remember, you're not going to have that weedless ability. So if you're coming over thick scum or wood or whatnot, I would leave them like this so you don't get snagged. Now, the benefit of the frog, summer like this, summer's full bore, going into late summers, this is the ATV of topwaters. You can throw it in grass, you can throw it next to reeds. It can come over that, the big sloppy type gross stuff. You can even walk it in open water, by little solo laydowns, small laydowns, or isolated laydowns. Or bushes, and catch fish. And there's not a lot of lures that you can go from slop to wood to grass to, to all that without having to change or get something off of it, or, it can be a headache. These, they go anywhere. As far as colors, this one I haven't got to throw yet, but I really like it. They call this color goat. You can see it's got like an iridescent green on it. Kind of a dark top, but really the bottom's what I'm looking at. This one is chartreuse. I do like a chartreuse when you're trying to mimic bluegill. But just an all black, honestly, if I could only pick one, an all black frog is my favorite. It's midnight or something they call it. This one's called Frogville, this green one, but it's all black. Both the big fish that I've had bite this year, one I swear could have been a PB, the way that thing waked and hit it. I broke off on both fish. I was using some crummy braid, learned my lesson, but both were on the black frogs, both got crushed, and unfortunately I lost both those. But so far, very happy with the 6th Sense Vega frog this year.
Okay, so when it comes to the combo that I've been using for frog fishing, this is one of a couple that I've been using. I've really liked this so far. It's the Okuma Serrano rod. Now you can see this is a 7'3", 7'2" is my favorite, but this is a 7'3". So this is a heavy power, fast action, really comfortable rod. I like the wind grip material type stuff it's got on here. Super comfortable for fishing all day. Fits really well on my hand. The reel that I've got it paired up with is the Okuma. I can show you here. Okuma Komodo SS. Nice beefy reel. This is a 200 size reel. I actually switched out and put some, these are the Spool Speed. I forget what the name of them is, but from Spool Speed over there, they've got the nice long handles. And actually the reel comes with nice handles. I just had this and wanted to put it on. But it comes with already longer handles on it, so you certainly wouldn't need to switch these out. Comes stock, really nice. Aluminum frame and an aluminum handle side plate. So all this is aluminum here, this handle side plate, the frame. So you're not gonna get flex when you're winching these fish out of the gross, nasty, heavy weeds and heavy pads and stuff. You don't have to worry about that. This is a 7.3 to 1 speed. That's my favorite speed for frogging, like a 7-ish, 7 to 7.5, somewhere in there. My favorite for frogging, but you can see this thing already up in there, super dirty. Been frogging with it, have really liked this combo, and I go with 65-pound braid. I personally don't like to go under that. I've got some for lighter frogs I'll go 50 on, but for the most part, if I could only choose one, it would be 65 pound. You don't need anything crazy expensive. I know I have people ask that. I'm getting a new frog rod for topwater. You're seeing those blowups and everything. It's more important for it to be nice and comfortable rod, the length that you like, because you're going to see those blowups. You don't need to feel every tiny little bit with a frog rod.
Okay, next up, staying with some topwater, we're going to talk about the Buzzbait. Now, the topwater bite this year has not been amazing for me, especially on frogs. I haven't caught a ton on frogs this year. I've been talking to people out on the boats. All the lakes around here are super low. You know, the water's way down, and the places normally I would fish from the bank and target, there's just no water there. You know, being 3 feet down, you know, these bass have pushed off farther out, but I've been talking to people that have been having a lot of luck on the frog. Now, for me, some places that I've been hitting, I've actually been having a lot of luck on these guys, buzzbaits. A lot of people aren't throwing the actual skirted buzzbaits anymore. They'll throw like the actual frog buzzbait or something like this, some sort of like creature on it without the skirt. You know, like a buzz frog is what they call it, or a buzz plastic. And that's what a lot of people are doing these days. So I feel like the skirted buzzbait has been good. Now for me, I go back and forth on the trailer. Sometimes I'll put a soft plastic on. You have to be careful of how big and what type, because sometimes that will make your buzzbait roll. So as long as it cooperates with your buzzbait, I do like to put one on there. And whenever I can, I usually try to go with a trailer hook. Now I've been leaving it off this year, and I still had some really good days. But with buzzbaits, you're going to get those fish that hit it, slapping it, and you're gonna miss fish. So if I can get away with it, usually I always run a trailer hook on here, the free swinging kind that just kind of sits up here. That way it doesn't you know, get all caught up in your plastic and the buzzbait, and run it that way. Now these are the Cumberland Pro Lures buzzbaits. They come in a couple different kinds. These are the smaller 1/4 ounce. This one does not have a clacker, which means it's just your regular, you know, squeaky style buzzbait, or they come with a clacker on it. So, you know, when you've got a chop on the water, when like a front coming through, I had really good luck on this one with a front coming through. The wind starts to pick up, you get that chop on the water. You need something that's going to make more noise, you know, as opposed to like just a little frog that's just going to give a little splash. This buzzing and plopping gives those fish something to target. It is good in dirtier, you know, even muddier water, because it puts off a lot of vibration, a lot of sound. Those fish can hone in on it and really attack that lure. Again, I'm a fan of all black. If I could only go with one, I would go with an all straight up, you know, black buzzbait. Usually I don't even throw a plastic on. This was one that Burley gave me. It's the Z-Man Goat. And I just threw it on just to see what the action would look like. And I thought, you know what, this is kind of cool. I'll run it. And I did. And it caught fish. I like that one. Normally, a white buzzbait, you know, you're going to see guys throwing that when fish are targeting bait, shad spawn, that sort of thing. And if it's a lake that has, you know, shad or any sort of, you know, crappie, hybrid bass, any of those white kind of bait fish, I'll throw this. But honestly, my go-to, if I just had one, would be an all black buzzbait. Sundown, early in the morning. I just feel like, you know, that dark profile mimics a bluegill. I don't know if this kind of helped having some iridescence on it, but really like those from Cumberland Pro Lures. They run straight, they run true. You know, out of the box, I don't want to have to be messing with my buzzbait for 20 minutes.
So the buzzbait combo, again, not an expensive combo. This is the Abu Garcia Max X combo. I bought this at Academy. Sub $100 combo. I've actually liked it. The Max X reel has surprised me. Casts really easy. I don't think I've had a single backlash on this reel at all. 17 pound. This is the Trilane XL, the mono in a red box. Love that stuff. Nice and easy to cast, really manageable. But this combo has actually been pretty surprising. Now, I'm not a huge fan of some of the stuff on the rod, you know, kind of cosmetics and feel and such. But as far as this working for a buzzbait rod, it's awesome because it's a little soft in the tip, so you can cast it really well. And when those fish blow up, you know, with the buzzbait, and I know a lot of people do have that bad habit of trying to swing on it, whereas if you make sure that fish actually has the buzzbait, it loads up a little bit. A little bit softer rod like this is perfect for that. That fish can get it, load it up, and then you can, you know, pull into them, set that hook. But does well for that. It's kind of got a soft tip on it. Now this is, as you can see there, a 7-foot medium heavy. This is rated for lures up to 3/4 ounce, 10 to 20 pound line. So perfect for me. Like I said, 17 pound mono. You can even go fluorocarbon on your buzzbaits because you're, you know, as soon as you cast that out and it hits, you're reeling that buzzbait in. So it's not like, you know, you're working with a plopper, something where you might stop or that line has a chance to kind of sink down. I know some guys like to use fluoro. I still like to go mono. You could even use braid if you wanted. Just make sure you've got a little bit of bend in that rod. So honestly, this has done really well for that.
Okay, the next lure I want to talk about about is the Chatterbait, specifically the Z-Man Crosseyez Chatterbait, because of its weedless ability. I've taken these out and played with them a few times, and I tell you what, for bank anglers specifically, if you have not tried these, I highly recommend it. They're nice and consistent when they're actually vibrating, so it's not like you throw it out and it doesn't want to start up. They start up and they've got these 2 wires, so I kind of bend them up and out just a little bit, and this helps so much when you come up and around wood. You're going to see a video of me fishing one of these. But comes over wood really well. I've been really happy with it. Good vibration. I think for bank guys, definitely check these out. Honestly, just a regular chatterbait is one of the lures that I lose most fishing from the bank. They do not play well with wood. So this version came through grass, vegetation well, come up over wood. Huge benefit for bank anglers out there. So you can see there's a number of different trailers I use. I've been liking the Berkeley Deal. Of course, the Gary Yamamoto Zaco. You can go with just a regular fluke, you know, like a reaction innovation, skinny dipper, a little dipper, like a little paddle tail. I've used all of them. Play with what you like. I try not to go with something with a ton of action because you don't want it to fight against the blade and the chatterbait. There's a few options. I like black and blue for dirty water, or like some sort of variation of green pumpkin. That's usually my go-to. I want to try red more this spring. These are actually from, I believe Mr. Chavez sent me these, right? I think so. I want to try red this spring. That's like a, what, chili craw? Yeah, chili dog is what they call it. This is fire craw, and then of course a white, you know, again, shad, bait fish. But usually around here, the ponds and small lakes, I'm going with like a black and blue, or like a green pumpkin. Mimics blue go really well.
So for your chatterbaits, again with chatterbaits, kind of like the buzzbait, I like a rod that's a little bit softer. Now, I've used that that Abu Garcia Max X. You could use something just like that for chatterbaits. But one I wanted to pick up and try is this. This is actually the chatterbait combo from Cashin. Cashin rods, it's the first Cashin rod that I've purchased. This is the Icon. It took a little bit to get used to on these grips because it's a Kevlar-like weave. So it's a little bit harder. I wasn't sure what I was going to think of it, but I've actually liked it the more I've used it. Now, the stats on this rod, this is a 7-foot, 7.1, medium heavy, moderate fast. You can see there. So that moderate fast means it's going to be a little bit softer. It's going to bend down into the middle of the blank, as opposed to like your, you know, faster, extra fast rods, really just bending more at the tip. This bends down a little bit further, more into the middle, so you can let that fish get that chatterbait, get it in its mouth. You know, you're not pulling it away right away. Get it in its mouth, hold on, and then pull into that fish and set the hook. Also a first time is this. This is the Piscifin Alloy M Reel. First Piscifin reel I've tried out and used. Castability on this is actually pretty dang good. I've been surprised with how it casts. You can see it does come with the carbon fiber handle. Knobs are a little small, but that's okay. Castability, it's just magnetic brakes, nothing crazy. And I tell you what, it flat out works. I think this is a $70 reel, and it has an aluminum frame. So in that price category, pretty darn good. I'm going to have a review of this up soon here, but I've been happy with this combo. 17-pound fluorocarbon, that's P-line. I want to say tactical I put on this one. I don't remember for sure, but 17-pound fluorocarbon is what I like to use for my chatterbaits, or 15, just depending. But so far, this has been a killer little combo.
Okay, next up, going with a little finesse. You know, the dog days of summer, it can get super hot. Fish get kind of lethargic. They may not want to chase a chatterbait. They may not want to go after topwater. And in those situations, the Wacky rig, especially earlier this year, was killer. Absolutely. I caught so many fish on this. This one I really liked. And the reason I wanted to talk about this one, because I like it Wacky rigged. This is the Missile Baits 48. Something new to me this year that I've been using. It's got these little like bumps or ridges, and it looks really cool when you throw it in, you know, on a Wacky rig like this. I prefer to use like either a 1/16, this is a 1/16, or a 1/8 ounce little weighted Wacky hook like this. And usually I would run my 2 O-rings, but I'm just going to show you this way. When you put it on here like this and throw that in, it turns this over and it catches the side of this and gives it a really good wobble on the way down. And that little subtle action is awesome for those fish that, you know, don't want to chase, especially in like the real deep brush and stuff. Now you can't get in the real deep stuff with this. I've got another lure for that, but this is great on the edges of isolated things, you know, brush, wood piles, awesome along grass lines. Just such a good do-nothing lure, and there's not a wrong way to fish it. You know, you throw it out, and I'm usually a 3-pop guy, so I'll throw it out there, and then it'll pop, 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 and then I just let it sink. I pop my rod tip, pop, 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 reel up my slack, and let it sink, and that's all there is to the Wacky rig. It's a A simple lure, a little bit different than a Texas rig plastic, because the Wacky rig, you definitely get more action out of the lure. You know, in the summer, it's not that fish don't want to eat, it's just that a lot of times they're not in the mood to chase, right? They're not going to be out running all around, but their metabolism is up higher, so they need to eat. They have to eat. They want to eat. You know, they just might not be eating all the time, but if you put a little easy morsel like this, just shimmying down in front of them, they can't help but eat it. Like the green pumpkin, the watermelon red did really good for me earlier this year. I like both of those. Usually I'm not a watermelon red guy, but in that cleaner water, I know a lot of people love that. Green pumpkin is usually my go-to. They have one called, what is it, Superbug and Missile Plastics, Missile Baits. It's like a green pumpkin, black and blue kind of mixture I really like. And then I like either the Bruiser or Bruiser Flash. So the regular Bruiser is black and then blue, but the Bruiser Flash like this has all that glitter in it. So that's the only difference between Bruiser and Bruiser Flash. Either way, I like the black and blues, so some good colors there. I'm really happy with this. I'm glad I picked some up, because for a Wacky rig, I think it is a sweet little plastic.
Ah, yes, the old Wacky rig combo. This one I have liked a lot this year. You have seen this quite a few different times, but this is that Okuma Psycho Stick. The spinning version here, this is 7 foot, 2 inch, medium light, rated for lures up to a ½ ounce. Now, I haven't gone anywhere near that. I've been using this for my lighter stuff. Works awesome for a little Wacky rig. It's got a decent tip so you can cast it out there. The reel is the Daiwa Fuego. Y'all have heard me talk about this one a lot. Awesome little reel that you can get right around $100. Look for some sales. I think I got mine for like 75 bucks, but perfect little combo. Really liking this for the Wacky rigs. I always go braid to a leader. So this is 15-pound braid to a 10, I want to say, 10 or 12-pound leader on here for that weightless Wacky, fluorocarbon leader. For that weightless Wacky or a weighted Wacky has worked awesome for that combo.
All right, last and certainly not least, lure number 5 is a weighted Texas rig. Now, specifically, I'm going to cover these plastics because I've been using these thanks to Brando actually showed me these. Thank you, sir. But, you know, a Texas rig, nothing more than a hook, your weight, usually like a 1/4 ounce is what I'll start out with, or 3/8. That's my go-to for bank fishing. Pegged, because I'm going to tell you why. Those summer bass will be buried in wood. If you've got a lake where you're fishing wood, they'll be buried in wood, and pegging this weight just keeps it all compact, all right together. So that allows you to flip into the, you know, the ugliest, nastiest looking spots down into the heart of those bushes or weeds, whatever it is where those bass are going to be hiding, because they'll be down, way down, tucked into that to be secure. You know, they're not going to be up and out roasting in the sun. They're going to be tucked way down deep into that. So a pegged Texas rig like this is awesome for picking that stuff apart. Now, specifically, the plastic is the Big Bite Baits Kamikaze Craw. Again, Brando showed me these. This is the color that he caught. If you remember that day where I was catching them on that Wacky rig, this setup exactly, he was catching them on this exactly. The green pumpkin, purple copper flake. Awesome color, looks really good in the water. That flake really stands out when you've got a little bit of sun, that, you know, kind of purple and copper. And to me, these are like bluegill colors. So I don't know if this is, you know, mimicking bluegill the times that we've thrown it. I caught, I think, what, like a 4.5 on one of these. He caught, I think, same 4.5. One was almost 5, might have been 5. They're awesome little lures because underwater, I noticed Brando said, oh, look, they leave a bubble trail. And you can see here on these arms, they give a big flappy motion, but it's got holes in it that leave a bubble trail as this lure goes down in the water. So, you know, again, something different, maybe something different the fish haven't seen. Maybe it's just the wavy kind of flap on it. You know, maybe it's just a confidence thing throwing it in there, but I think they're darn good lures. But I also like when you Texas rig this, like especially with an EWG. I would not use a belly weighted hook on this, but I just wanted to show you when you actually rig your hook on here. Let's say it comes out right about here on it. When you rig your hook up, I like these little ridges because once you get that rigged up, you can put that right in there, and it's not buried in a ton of plastic. You've got it right here ready to go. So when you set that hook, it only has to come through a little bit of plastic to get that hook set, but you can bury it in there. So when you're fishing from the bank or, you know, anywhere really, it keeps it nice and weedless. And a lot of times that's kind of a give and take. You know, if you have the hook really buried in a, you know, a big plastic, you might not get as good a hook sets. Or if you barely got it, you know, tucked in there, you might get snagged more. So I did notice with this one, it ran really well once you put an EWG hook on it. I think I was running it like a heavy wire 3/0. worked really well on this. That's the 3.75 inch. If I'm just throwing this like a Texas rig, I like this size. There's also a 3 inch, which is smaller. And this is in the hematoma color. I really like that black and blue, but you can see the size difference there. They do make 2 sizes, awesome looking plastics. That green pumpkin or green pumpkin purple copper flake, some form of that is awesome to mimic bluegill. Got dirty water, of course, your black and blue, they call it hematoma. And then the color in big bite baits that I've had a lot of luck on in stick baits is called Tilapia. I had a big thing of those I went through a couple years ago, and it's just a weird, it's got like purple, blue, green, all sorts of different flake in it, and like a green pumpkin. So that one did really well for me. Big bite baits, the Kamikaze Craw. The Texas rig combo. Now, dude, the Texas rig is so versatile. That's why I want a combo that is also going to be versatile. I don't want, you know, something too heavy, too light. If I'm just kind of doing an all-around Texas rig rod, this has been amazing. This is the TFO Tactical Elite Bass. 7'3", medium heavy, fast action, rated for lures up to 3/4 of an ounce. And I think those medium heavy rods rated like up to 3/4 or even an ounce are like perfect do-it-all rods. First time using their rod this year, have really been happy with it. It's a little bit soft for compared to a lot of the fasts, which I like. Perfect for most everything that I would want to use like an all-around rod for. Now, if you wanted something where you're in like rocks, want a little bit stiffer, you know, tip, that fast to extra fast, I could see that. But for everything else that I'm doing, like obviously, for example, I was throwing a swim jig on here the other day. You can switch over to a Texas rig, no problem. I threw on some 15-pound fluorocarbon, P-line tactical. So when you're flipping around, you know, a little 1/4 ounce Texas rig, a nice soft fluorocarbon like that is huge. That way you're not getting all the curly, you know, kinks and stuff in it. The reel, Diawazillion reel, my favorite reel of the year. That thing is so smooth and nice to pitch with. Cast and retrieve stuff. I remember the first time I cast it out, I had to check because I thought stuff wasn't set right. Like it was just so smooth and clean feeling. So killer little combo there. 7.1 speed. I like the 7 speed for my Texas rigs. You could go quicker because you're flipping it out and then, you know, taking up the slack and reeling it in. So if you're trying to get that fish out of wood, you know, you can go with a faster reel. Again, I like a 7 speed, but perfect little Texas rig combo there. You don't need anything super special, but this one I really like because it is truly so versatile. Super lightweight in hand, comfortable to fish all day. Again, wind grips. Love that combo. All right, fishing friends, that's going to do it for my top 5 lures. The frog, buzzbait, chatterbait, that weighted wacky rig, and a Texas rig. If you've got those, I am highly confident wherever you're at, you can certainly find and catch some fish. Getting into this late summer, starting to transition over into fall here soon. So I'm still going to be having these tied on and catching more fish. I've got videos coming with a lot of these lures, some more gear type stuff, and comment below and let me know what really helped you from this video. Seeing some of the on the water footage mixed in. Do you like when I go over and do like the gear talk breakdown after the lures? Comment below and let me know what you think. And today's subscribed fishing friend is my guy Dersh, always in the live streams, always donates. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you watching, supporting my videos, live streams. Everybody out there, I appreciate y'all so much. You know, everybody that's purchased lures, everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, keeping my channel going because, again, I would not be here without all of you. So comment below and let me know if you like these type of videos, going over stuff and explaining gear reviews. What all do you want to see more next? I love hearing what you have to say. But that's enough for me. I need to get all this put on the computer and edited. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time.